Good evening, PVFM, and welcome to an interview with Obab Scribbler, and Ace will be sort of joining us as well, roughly, give or take. Obab, would you like to, Scribbler, would you like to introduce yourself to listeners and who we are, and, well, who you are, I should say?
I don't think there's much to introduce. My name is Scribbler, sometimes known as Obab Scribbler. So people seem to add that little bit on because it was a name I had to add onto YouTube because Scribbler was taken, but I am just known as Scribbler. Yeah, that was a very interesting story. I do fanfic readings and radio plays, and I sometimes write fanfiction for Pony Fandom. And I generally am a very opinionated busybody who gets her finger into everything. Ta-da!
Opinionated busybody. Oh, wow.
I am an opinionated busybody, didn't know that.
You're gonna have me copying your accent, by the way. I will get more northern as this interview goes on, so I apologise.
I am not a northerner. I am not. I know several northerners who will be very offended if you said I was a northerner.
I'll link you to the website so you can join the IRC where lots of people are talking to you at the moment, which you can't see, obviously. Yeah, I'll link you in a second. Would you like to explain to everyone how you discovered the fandom, or how did you get into the fandom originally?
I am a proper old school pony fan. I was a G1 fan when I was a little girl.
Like me.
Yes, exactly like you.
Apart from the little girl bit, obviously. Yeah.
There was I just imagining you in a little pink frilly skirt and pigtails then. But that was just last week.
See my OC.
Yeah, I've been a fan of ponies since I was a little wee bairn. I had one of the original, not My Pretty Pony, but the original My Little Ponies, where they were just 4 little figurines with hooves all stuck standing together. I had one of those when I was growing up, and I used to tout her everywhere. And I know she had an actual name. Her name was Bluebell, but she was called Star when I had her. Because that was the full extent of my naming capability, was she had stars on her bum, so she was called Star. And that little pony was sort of my gateway into ponydom and fandom and all everything else. And I just sort of carry on from there. I used to watch the cartoons, the original G1 cartoons, and if anybody decides to rubbish them now, I shall be most displeased, because they were epic and awesome. I loved them.
People died.
And, pardon?
People actually died in them.
They did. They died. There was all sorts of dark creatures, and it was quite rough stuff for an 80s cartoon. I mean, 80s cartoons are very underrated. Brave Star is amazing, though I'm quite glad that Silver Quill has brought that one back to public attention. Yay for Brave Star.
Yes.
But I've always liked ponies. I used to make up stories with them, with little toys, and I used to watch the cartoon and rewrite bits in my head. And way back in the dim and distant, I've got some G1 ponyfic on my fanfiction.net profile, which is very, very old now. But I've always been a part of ponydom in some form. I got into Friendship is Magic. I actually watched the first half of the original pilot the weekend after it came out. I saw it on YouTube. And I have to say, to begin with, I wasn't impressed. I think that was more to do with my headspace at that particular moment, that I was not in a good place in real life, and I didn't have time to go watching lots and lots of cartoons. So it wasn't until early 2012, around about the end of season 2, that I found Cupcake's fan art and thought, my goodness, these ponies got a bit darker than I remember. What's all this about then? And I went looking, found out about Cupcakes, and went to watchcartoononline.net and watched the entire first 2 seasons right before Canterlot Wedding premiered, and got into things from there. So that's how it happened. That's how I've got into ponies. Not into ponies. Hang on, that sounds slightly cloppy. No, I didn't get into ponies. I got into the pony fandom.
Okay. You've just lost me. You lost me at the into ponies thing now.
Has your mind gone to strange places?
No, it's gone to, oh my god, what have I let myself into places? Right, I'll link the chat there. Oh, Ace did, Scribbler, so you can join the.
I think I'm in now.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I was similarly. Did you ever have a G1 pony called Lemon Drop? It was yellow with purple hair and had purple raindrops on its butt.
Yes, but I got that one very many years later at a charity shop because I used to collect pony figurines and things. I never ever got Bubble. I don't think that was a real name. The one who was sitting down. That was the thing that I always wanted, was this random sitting down pony.
Yeah, she was a mail order only though. You had to collect those little shitty PowerPoint things that were on the back of the boxes. So if you wanted to collect the boxes, with the, keep everything mint, you actually still had to deface them to collect the power pony points, and it was just like, what are you doing, Hasbro?
Yeah, Hasbro, fail.
All right, so how do you pick what stories you're going to do your little readings of, or do you just have like a big list? Do people send you lists or anything like that, or?
I do in fact have a list. I add to the list quite frequently, but the list is in Word document, and it's Calibri 0.10 font, so it's quite small. And at the moment, it's got all the fics on it that I've already read, and a whole bunch that I want to do, and some possibilities. And it's just over 200 pages long. The actual bit of stuff that I've read, I have a whole bunch that I keep in what I call the buffer, which is things that I've done the narration for, or done character voices for. I'm either waiting for lines, or they're ready to go, or it's waiting for editing. It's moving up the queue, and that bit is about 15 pages long. So there's about 100 to 150 ponytails in production at any given time, and that's in addition to radio plays and things. So I tend to sort of just put on the list whatever interests me, and as far as the weeks go, it'll either be a theme week or a theme month, like in October.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, October it was dark.
You have like a romancy phase coming into the autumn, I've noticed.
It's not just me who has that one, actually. There's quite a number of other fanfic readers. Somebody in the chat has asked me about My Little Dashi. Can we come back to that one? Because I have quite a bit to say about My Little Dashi.
We'll have a Q&A from the audience in a minute. Yeah, don't worry.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yes, Month of Love. Well, Month of Blur, as we call it.
Well,
Lurve. It's got this particular spelling, and there's a number of other fanfic readers who are involved in it. There's Emo Gaki is in it, The Lost Narrator, Goombasa, Goodyear's Serenade. I don't know actually if A Bag of Vicodin's in it, or Deft Funk, or Ilya Leonov. They were sort of offered it, maybe thinking about it. I don't know if they're going to participate, but the others were all. We've each got a theme for Month of Love, and we've each got a particular type of fic that we're going to be uploading. Mine, as sort of indicated by the random comment I left on this week's Comic Dub, is I've got crack shipping. So I get the fun ones, I thought. Of course, everybody thinks they've got their own fun ones. And Emogak is doing Osiva and... can't talk. She's doing OC and canon characters, and Lost Narrator is doing sort of the big name, really popular pairings like Rara Jack, which is her favourite, and hopefully some Apple Dash, which is mine. Goombasa, he sent us the notification today that he's going to be uploading a fic, or a part of a fic, every single day of February, which none of us realised he was going to do.
So you've now got to work your backside off and catch up with him, have you?
Well, he said today that he's finished them all off, and they're going, I've just about picked which four I'm doing. He's highly, highly organised compared to the rest of us. Actually, I was going to say that Emogak and The Lost Narrator have already picked out theirs as well. And I think Goodyear's Serenade has picked out his, so I'm just the outlier going, okay, better pull my finger out then. I've got ideas of what I'm doing, otherwise I wouldn't have picked crack shipping. But it's going to be an interesting month, February. And after that, I've got quite a big fic that I've actually been commissioned to do. That I don't usually do fanfic commissions or comic dubs and things, but back in September, my dog was really, really ill, and I was landed.
I remember on the.
She's actually laying at my feet right now.
She a bit better?
You might hear us snoring at some point or passing gas, because that's what she does. She looks lovingly at me and then farts.
Those sound effects, though.
Oh yes. But because she was really, really poorly, I was offered a commission of a rather large, quite popular fanfic, which I'm not going to say what it was, because the author doesn't know that it has been commissioned, and we're keeping him in the dark. But it's probably one of the biggest fics I've done in terms of cast. It has more than, if I recall, it's more than 20 different voice actors, including myself, and it's 4 chapters long.
Hell.
Yeah. Usually I don't go in for like huge amounts of those apart from radio plays.
Is that one we're going to be able to air, or is it a private type of thing?
Oh, the actual stories, you mean? The title of it I can't say now, because like I said, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't want to let the author know, but it is The story itself I'd heard of before, but I'd never read it before, but it's really, really like Terry Pratchett. So if you've ever read or liked Terry Pratchett fiction, you would like this.
I think that'd fit quite well, yeah. Yeah, it sounds...
But it's I've had an absolute blast putting this together because it's such a fun story. It's so bizarre. It's but like I said, it's got this huge cast. So it may be that I release a chapter of that every 2 weeks rather than every week to make sure that it is worth listening to. But that one is set to happen sort of March, April-ish, after Month of Love. And after that, it's going to be sort of open season, really, about getting back to just random fics that I want to do. Oh, somebody just asked what type of dog. She's a Doberman. She is a very fat Doberman.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to say next.
It's all right. Just thinking, obviously you're telling me stuff that's going to happen, so I've got to figure out how we're going to put it onto the station. Month of Love. Oh, God.
LURVE, Month of Love.
How many fics is it? Are they long?
For me, it'll be 4 fics.
Okay.
I think there's four weekends in the month, so... Because I release every weekend.
You relief it? Yeah, that's a...
I release it every week. I release it every weekend, darling. Don't you know that?
Oh, darling.
My name is Twist.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Right, let's move on. So, I was about to ask, you already partially answered one of the questions. So, you have
I have...
Why? Talk to me while I'm trying... Oh, Ace, stop it. You send me messages.
Let me know if I get too annoying for you two, yeah? You're fine, Ace. You'd never be annoying.
He's annoying for me, though. I am
pushing his feelings.
I am annoying, and I am like the typical miserable English guy that drinks tea and mutters about, raising petrol prices and the fact I have to queue to get my paper in the morning, that sort of thing. proper old English guy. So what I was about to ask was the commissions and stuff like that. So you genuinely pick most stories and stuff that basically interest you, and basically, you can be sort of persuaded to do other things. I also note that you have like this massive wedge on your Skype about collaborations. So how do collaborations work with you?
Collaborations with me work one of 2 ways. Either if I'm putting together a fic, I'll usually list out all the parts and put them on this collaboration document, which is accessible only if you have me on Skype. So it's only people that I know particularly well, or I'm just getting to know. And they can access that, and if there is a blank role on there that's unclaimed, they can ask for it, and I usually ask them to sort of send me a voice reel or link me to a video where they've played that character before, and if it works, I'll say yes. Sometimes it's by invitation only. For example, the big fic that is coming up, that was invitation only. There's a non-pony fic that I'm working on at the moment with the Lost Narrator, and that's a Batman fanfiction. And that one is invitation only. So it's taking a while to fill all the roles because that story is a bit special. That not like Looking in the School Bus special, but I first read that one in 2001, and it's one of the first fanfics that got me into fandom in the first place. So that one, the fact that I've waited this long to do a reading of it, I want it to be special. It's called Living in the Red Light. If anybody has heard of that one, it's only on fanfiction.net, but if you want to have a look, by all means, go ahead. And that one will be coming out when we've had all the roles back. I have to say I'm quite proud of the cast in that one because they're all super duper voice actors. I've really got to pull my socks up to compete with them.
You'll have to watch Accent then, won't you?
I will. I'm supposed to be playing a hooker in that one, so...
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's lots of stuff going on with the collab chart. Sometimes it's different with radio plays. With radio plays, I hold open auditions, or again, it's invitation only. I've got at the moment we've got No Place Like Home and Heroic Tale on the boil, and they were both open auditions. But there's also a mini radio play that not many people know about, which I started writing because I write all my own radio plays, but I adapt other people's fanfictions. And with that one, it's invitation only because it was a little side project that I started when I got writer's block on No Place Like Home. And if I don't clear a writer's block pretty darn quickly, it can last for several months. which is why Playing With My Heart, the fanfiction I'm writing, the Octoscratch, has taken so damn long, because the writer's block clicked in quite badly on that. So to stop it from happening on No Place Like Home, I started writing a little thing called The Death of Sunset Shimmer. And that one is going to be coming out. They're very, very tiny sort of mini-sodes. They're no longer than 10 minutes each. And Jowie Bean actually has done the cover art for that. So if anybody wants to go to Jowie Bean's DeviantArt, he uploaded the title card for that yesterday, I think, to give you an idea about what that one's about. So that one is coming out as well. But that one's going to be much more sort of relaxed than the rest of it.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's do some Q&As. We've got. I'll open it up to the craziness of our audience. All right, so
Well, the chat just while we've been talking.
Okay, let's start with deltas. I'm assuming he's not wanting me to pronounce it in D3LTA. What? Yes.
The Thrillter?
Delta. The 3 is meant to be an E. It's supposedly leet speak, I think, is what he's trying to get away with there. So, what did you think of My Little Dashie?
My Little Dashie. A discussion on My Little Dashie is actually what predicated the Heroic Review to become a thing, because we had a long, long chat in the Heroic Tales Skype about this. And My Little Dashie, I don't like. I really don't. I find it really highly emotionally manipulative, and not the kind of manipulation that I can appreciate. That you don't know anything about the main character. He's a cipher, not a character. Everything that happens is just sort of to get an "aw" reaction. And I remember reading a theory once. I don't know who wrote it, but there was sort of an essay written in somebody's blog on Fimfiction that I read when I was quite new to Fimfiction, and it was about My Little Dashie, and it was after I'd listened to the Drew Copenhaver reading of it. If anybody wants a really good reading of My Little Dashie, he really pulled it off. I listened to Michael Microphone's reading, and it's good, but I like Drew Copenhaver's better. And they said that they reckoned that My Little Dashie is as popular as it is because of a lot of the themes and sort of the age group of the people who got really heavily into it at the time it was released. And their theory was that a lot of the people who kept pushing it and saying this made me cry, this is so sad, are people who really, really, really want kids someday, and are worried that they wouldn't, and have sort of invested something into this idea of having a child taken away, but thinking that you would never have one, being given something so precious, and then having it taken away again. And that appealed to some sort of visceral, primal part of people. And I can respect that opinion. I don't necessarily agree with it all, but I can respect that opinion. But a lot of that sort of ties up with the reason why I don't like My Little Dashie. Whoops, knocking over things.
Are you shaking your Tic Tacs at me?
That would be a little packet of safety pins. Because, I was a girl guide, so always be prepared.
What have you got safety pins for during an interview?
Because I record in my bedroom. I record in one of the upstairs bedrooms. And it is surrounded by, basically, the detritus of my life. So I was mending a hem on some trousers earlier, and I've got safety pins there.
Okay.
It's just the interest of My Little Dashie that I managed to derail into safety pins.
To be honest with you, I didn't like it either. You're not alone. It just reminded me of like the latest sad teen subfic that was like being talked about in the playground, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so sad." But I'm like, yeah, but if you actually have a child, or you have a little one, or you've loved and lost, it's a very, very different story.
It is. It just felt very superficial. And Deadly Reg pointed out that the relationship between the narrator and Dashie as father and child is incredibly toxic. That he basically regulates everything about her life and teaches her emotions as they pertain to him and as they suit him. So the outside world is sort of this dangerous, you must not go their place, except for the times that it's convenient for him. I think probably Rainbow Dash Presents My Little Dashie sort of characterised it best in their version of don't go outside because the government will catch you and cut you up.
A little bit excessive though, wasn't it?
Don't trust them government types. We don't trust them government types.
They're government. Okay, let's... Damn, son. Damn.
Them government types come around here, I'ma shoot them with my blunderbuss.
I have to say, as someone who lives in Georgia, I'm speechless at this.
Speechless at what?
Speechless of what? How rather bordering on racist we are.
Your attempts at the accent.
You can 1v1 me.
I love
Nice
how they
only.
described it as attempts at the accent. Hey, we're two random English people with rather posh accents. You're gonna give us a little bit of slack here.
Fair enough.
Yes. Do you not understand that obviously when we're in America, we obviously have people trying to be British all the time around us.
This is why whenever we talk to random American people on the internet, they want to know if we're related to royalty.
I'm familiar. I went to Canada once, and it was horrible because I started talking a bit like this, and my southern accent started coming out a little bit. So they all asked me if I had a high school education, and if I knew how to count change.
No!
That's
Yeah.
Oh my
brutal.
goodness!
It is. So I know a bit about how that works.
But do you have a high school education?
I do.
Okay. Okay, we're cool. All right, let's have a quick question. There's obviously there's a lot of people who've been talking about fix, and that's what you do. But there's a question I want to ask just before we carry on with the questions from the audience. What did you feel about the differences between G1, where obviously we grew up from, and current Pony? Obviously, you can split it between season 1 and 2 onwards, because for me, season 1 G4 is as season 1 G1, because season 2 G1 changed.
I think that I think that the current progression of Friendship is Magic has changed the show's dynamic quite a lot. I think that the changes that G4 has made to G1 have been largely good. I would like to see a little bit more of some of the G1 ideas in there. I don't know, there are bits and pieces of G1 that I think are probably better left to the annals of history. But I don't think all of it was bad, and I think that some of it, like T-Rex, it could easily be sort of updated and upgraded to G4 and fit in quite nicely. But the changes themselves, I largely like. There are bits and pieces I wish would come across. I was very sad that there were no ponies called Fizzy and Wind Whistler in the G4.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who knows G1 will probably know why I like those two. But yeah.
Well, I was hoping that the limited ponies from the Europe, because we had the two Spa ponies from Germany, which we were able to get in the UK via the Pony Point system.
Yeah.
I have them. I'm not gonna lie.
No, don't lie, be honest.
I would have liked to have seen the other limited editions, because America had a load that we didn't have, and vice versa. Yet why include the Spa Twins from Europe, but none of the limited edition American ones? I never understood that.
I always thought it was quite funny how a lot of the pony figurines from the original G1 run, so we're talking about the Hasbro run rather than the cartoon now, weirdly they all had different designs in Brazil and Argentina. And I would have loved to have seen like a Brazilian or an Argentina design pony come up. I was like, oh my goodness, they had such wonderful colour schemes. They were all in neon and different main designs, and I would love to see some of them turn up. I
think we only get them in like the blind bags with G4, don't we?
Oh, the little recoloured figurines, yeah.
Yeah. Let's use 4 molds
exactly
and then
one
have.
blind bag pony, and he's a little Big Mac who stares at me in silent judgment whenever I record.
I've just got the princesses on my desk actually.
I have not very much G4 swag. I was given quite a bit for Christmas actually. The Lawson Racer sent me some Lyra and Bun Bun figurines and a little plushy Applejack because she had a hat. I was complaining that we didn't have any Applejacks with hats. And Reva Brony sent me 2 gigantic Lyra and Bun Bun plushies. I think they're from China, but they are enormous and they're so pretty. And basically, I just arranged all the Lyra Bun to smooch on the study table during the Christmas holiday.
Oh, you and your shipping.
I do like me some Lyra Bun. I'm not a shipper, but I do like Lyra Bun. I think it's cute.
I'm not a shipper. You are.
I'm not a proper shipper. That's why I keep breaking
You
my
are
heart
bloody.
with
You
ponies.
are a bloody.
I'm not
shipper.
I do not have an OTP. That does not make me a shipper. OTPs, no.
Yeah,
Can't be doing with people who will defend rabidly.
Okay. All right. So, question from, I'm assuming that's Slumas 2000.
Mm-hmm.
When you first read, obviously, Cupcakes, what did you think? Apart from how evil ponies become.
I actually didn't read Cupcakes for the longest time. I knew all about it, I'd heard all about it, I'd had it described to me, but I didn't actually encounter the fiction itself until I listened to the Lost Narrator's reading of it. And that was a good 18 months after I first heard about it. The quality of writing itself was pretty poor. I was thinking, it has some interesting ideas, I suppose. I made the mistake of I watched the Rainbow Dash Presents version before I actually listened to the fanfic, so I just kept listening to it and then imagining Rainbow Dash in a gorilla suit.
Oh, I don't need these images. What are you doing to me? Anyway, okay. Simon says, this is his nickname. Is there anything you like doing besides doing fanfic readings?
In fandom or just in general? Because in fandom, I write. I generally just sort of dot about on Skype a lot of the time. When I'm online, one of the best places I like going is just sort of Channel Awesome, which was that guy with the glasses till recently, and watching videos from there, and watching old BBC documentaries because I'm sad like that. And I like writing. I've got so many different fanfiction things that I've half written and keep going with. But from not being online, I'm either working, which I'm very certain you know about, Squirrel.
Yes, I know about. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to slot in fandom stuff around all that. So like real life work stuff, or walking Suki, my dog, or just getting involved with real life family stuff and things like that. Probably people who listen to me on YouTube know the various different things that go on with my family, because I always seem to mention them in those stupid little end blurbs.
Yes, we get a couple of them on the station. I normally, I'll be honest with you, I don't listen to all of them. It all depends on if I've...
I do not blame you in the slightest. It is basically just me blathering.
So if I finish work early enough, then I catch them on the station, but yes. All right, Vic asks, what are your personal fics, or what personal fics would you recommend? This guy obviously is Canadian. To check out if they're in a rough patch. This is from Saphira Flame.
To make themselves feel better if they're in a rough patch.
You can pick some shows, but as well, I think actually we'll do that too. Ones you've read, and ones you've written.
I've read. Oh god, I've written. I write really depressing things, so if you're in a bad place, I wouldn't read anything I've written. Maybe candy is not the only food. Something. I wrote a little bit about Truffle Shuffle having a crush on Bun Bun, and that was probably the happiest thing I've written. I write stories about ponies dying and being in comas and things.
Shipping.
Well, the shipping comes along with it. Shipping should never be the backbone of your story. It should always be something that's gone in besides.
Shipping, though.
But, I had this conversation with people in the fanfic reader chat the other day. I like, actually, if you're having a bad day and you need something to bring you up, A Hell of a Time by, I think, Aragorn? Astro Brony did a reading of it on YouTube, and his performance is phenomenal. Like, you read the fiction, it's good. You hear his reading, it is... I was going to swear then. It is brilliant. There's also For I Am a Jelly God, and Mr. Kenyon does a reading of that one. That was one of the very first comedy fics that I ever read. But yes, For I Am a Jelly God, I love that one, and I can't even tell you the funniest thing about it because it's kind of right at the very end and it's part of the finale, but it involves Derpy's bum saving the world.
Shipping, I told you.
It's not shipping. Derpy's bum / end of the world. Yeah, we go.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, A Hell of a Time is brilliant, and For I'm a Jelly God. There's various different things that people can read to make themselves feel better. I think that, well, I don't know how I'd recommend it. I just seem to like what I like, and I will read whatever's going at any given moment. So I could be recording something when I'm feeling really sad and I'm recording a comedy, or I could be feeling absolutely happy in the world and I'll be reading a story about ponies killing each other.
That sounds, psychologically sound. Honestly, it does.
I mean, I'm totally well adjusted as my eye twitches.
It doesn't work on radio though. It's the problem.
That's why I had to describe it. Her eye twitched madly as she spoke into the microphone.
Her eyes twitched madly as she spoke into the microphone.
That sounds really, really, really good, actually.
Right. Apparently, I need to cheer up more.
You need to cheer. Hang on, he's British. He's not allowed to. Stop it. You'll spoil the mystique.
It's like
He has to
it's
be
like
random, grumpy
question.
British guy.
It's like question. Why does he sound so disappointed while asking questions? And everyone's like,
Because clearly
he's
I'm just
British.
really depressing to talk to.
God's sakes, lost
Shove
my place.
Scribbler on a pacer from Colne to Blackpool South. I've been to Blackpool. I think that's where I used to spend all my holidays as a kid.
You've been to Blackpool?
I've been to Blackpool. Where I used to spend my holidays like.
Got to find where I was. I apologise for this. Do some. I need those guys from Family Guy to play the piano and like do some filler for me before the advert. But
Just need Rainbow Dash to come in. Just bellyache at the audience for a bit.
I haven't got my audio. Otherwise, I could do. You know, I am a DJ, so it'd be easier. Hang on. I hate it when I lose my place. Oh, I've gone way too far down.
Da, 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 da.
There we. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's Limitless. Is old. Shall I do it in a random accent for you then, or a random?
Go on, then do it in a random accent.
All right then. Limitless. Yeah. Okay. Off the top of your head, which fics have been criminally overlooked or underrated by the fandom at large?
Oh, right. Okay, there's a question. Most of them. I think most of them. There's like this clutch of really popular things that everybody goes, "Oh, you should read this," and they ignore everything else. What has been criminally underrated? Life is 11, but we did an entire review on that, which is on my channel. Go listen to that. The Hero Review, we did a review of Life is 11 by Blue Shift. That one is criminally underrated. Anything by Horse Voice or Bad Horse, who don't get nearly as much attention as they should. But basically, if you get anything in that is by Obsolescence, Bad Horse, Horse Voice, or Blue Shift, read it immediately, because it will be fantastic. It doesn't even matter what it's about. They're some of the few authors that I don't even care what the story's about. I don't care if it's genres I like. I don't care if it's characters I like. I will read that on the strength of the writing alone, because they are such good authors. Donny's Boy, kind of. Cold and Goddess, kind of. I didn't really like the glass blower. But there's a couple of authors, but they're the ones I would recommend. It's easier to recommend authors than individual fics sometimes.
And just to continue, so we've got both of them out of the way. And which ones do you feel are overstated?
Which fics do I think are overrated? My Little Dashie, probably Cupcakes. Although Cupcakes seems to be sort of the gateway into fandom for me and a lot of other people, so I can't speak too badly of Cupcakes because of what it did for existing, but it's not actually a very good story. What else do I think is overrated? There's a question. Because I used to think that, having known nothing about them, I used to think that like Anthropology and Past Sins were a bit overrated, because I used to hear about them everywhere, and they're not bad actually. The Anthropology audio play has recently concluded on YouTube, and I listened to that one all the way through, and actually Anthropology is not bad at all. I had some issues with the abruptness of the ending, but it's not a bad fiction at all, and I can see why so many people got into the Lyra loves humans thing from that. Obsolescence, I think, is running a competition on EQD at the moment that deals with really, really famous fanfictions. What were some of the others that they had in there? Oh, I'm blanking completely.
Welcome to my life. Welcome to
I knew that word before. I'm getting old. I'm becoming a decrepit old fart. I'm going to check on Equestria Daily, because here we go. The Most Dangerous Game. What was on here?
Game over.
I know one that I think is overrated and is not particularly well written. Fallout Equestria. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
You're going to get some enemies now.
I do.
DDoSed. You know that.
I'm going to get lambasted for this. To be honest, Fallout Equestria, I don't know that much about. I have read halfway through it and I had to stop because I didn't like it. But I liked some bits. It's so long, it would be impossible to say I hated everything about it, because I don't. I think that actually it's got a bloody brilliant premise. I don't know anything about Fallout, so I don't know how much of it was K-Cat's imagination, how much of it was from the games. But the premise and some of the characters and the world is really, really interesting. But at the same time as I was trying to read Fallout Equestria, I started listening to a reading of Fallout Equestria Pink Eyes. And I liked that one better than the original Fallout Equestria because the writing was stronger. So I think Fallout Equestria, for me, falls under the guise of I like the idea better than the execution. I liked the concepts of the characters more than I liked the characters themselves. And sounds like I'm backpedaling now. I'm not. I still stand by the fact that I don't particularly like the story. I like the idea of it better than I like the story itself.
She's a witch.
People are going to shout at me now because I never got to the end before I said that. I know how it ends. I do know how it ends.
Burn the witch.
Oh, they say that to me every day at work, and it hasn't worked yet.
Okay. Okay. John the Brownie Nerd asks, have you had... Don't make me laugh. It's difficult to do an accent like that when I'm laughing.
I know. I love New Birmingham, so I'm just comparing it.
Have you had any MLP dreams before?
Only when I was a kid. I had one once about a pony in a diving competition, and that one stayed in my head for some reason. But no,
Okay.
I've never had proper pony dreams.
All right. Now, Greg F.
Oh, Greg, hello.
You know him then?
Greg has played. I released a fic recently called Too Far, and Greg was Discord in it. Greg has worked on Heroic Tales, and he's got one of the most lugubrious and fantastic voices I know. So hello, Greg. Yes, I know you're there.
And you swallowed the dictionary to compliment him. Awesome. So, what is your dream crossover?
The one I've sort of half written and then forgot about for ages, and that was My Little Pony crossed with Bucky O'Hare.
Really?
Yes, I've got a. I have.
You are a
story.
messed up individual. You know that.
It works so well. The ponies have just got their own planet called Equestria. Present perfect.
You might as well just combine it with Brave Star, and then
Yeah, but they're humans, whereas Bucky O'Hare would work with minimal adaptation. I wouldn't have.
I'm not
to...
saying you'd need to have Brave Star as a human.
I had enough of the Sonic the Hedgehog fandom where we used to just cross over with everything and turn everybody into little animals. So.
Now you admitted you're from the Sonic fandom.
I'm
You're
old.
gonna get so much hate
this.
now. You're gonna get so much hate.
Oh yeah.
You know, next you'll be telling me you remember Teddy Ruxpin and the Get Along Gang and
Oh my god.
Rainbow Bright and stuff
I
like
don't remember
that.
the Get Along Gang. People keep telling me, why do you not remember this? It's from the same era. And I just don't. I remember Shirt Tails.
Well, did you get BBC Two where you were? Because some places didn't actually get BBC Two because that's when it was on. You can YouTube the theme tune, Get Along Gang theme tune, and then you can cry and thank me later.
I've seen these things. I just didn't watch them. I watched Kissy Fur, and that was the closest I got for that.
Oh God, Kitsy Fur was horrific.
Kissy Fur was fantastic. And the Gummy Bears.
Gummy bears, love. Gummy bears.
Oh yeah. I just love how the fact we were supposed to be talking about ponies and things, and I was just devolved into, do you remember that cartoon? Street Sharks and Gargoyles and Biker Mice from Mars.
The Biker Mice from Mars was amazing.
It was amazing.
Completely crazy. All right, let's have a look. We've got any more questions before we devolved this into something crazy.
I think as soon as I mentioned Sonic, people started shouting Sonic.
Yeah, I can hear the hate bubbling. It's literally,
It was Sonic
I can hear
Sat AM. I'm allowed to like that one. It was the cool one to like.
It's going to be game over. What would you do if you were what? Trapped recording an episode on a pacer.
I think I answered that one before. So I wouldn't be on a pacer to Blackpool, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be in the car, shouting at the sat nav.
That's like, I'd be like, what would you do if you were recorded an episode and stuck on the M6? It'd be the same type of question as that, wouldn't it?
It's like I wouldn't be recording on the M6. I'd be swearing profusely at other drivers.
Yeah.
And cursing the charge to go on the M6.
It's only part of the M6 that's the toll, not all of it.
I know, but it's always the bit I end up having to go on.
Really? You live up that way?
I don't live up that way, but a lot of my family do.
Okay, so let's see. Staffordshire.
We do. We work in Staffordshire, and I have no idea where I'm doing a Yorkshire accent for Staffordshire. Or the Shires, they're all the same. Ask anybody who's watched any of the Hobbit films, all the Shires. Just one Shire.
Why do I sound like Simon Cowell? What the hell is that about?
You don't sound like Simon Cowell, you're far too nice. Sally versus Lola Bunny. Not Lola Bunny. Bunny Rabbit, whose voice actress died at Christmas, and I was really sad.
Paging Dr. Freud? You are.
Mr. Interviewer, why do you sound like Simon Cowell? I'm assuming this person isn't British and therefore thinks all British men sound the same?
I'm guessing so. Yes, I'm guessing so. I'm just scrolling down now because I'm actually
sound a bit more like Jack D, actually. A little bit.
Really?
You inflect more than he does, though. Have I just insulted you? Sorry.
See, you know. The depressing voice is just... I'm not depressed. I'm not depressing either. This is how
no,
I
you're
speak.
not depressing. You remember all the cool cartoons. You can't possibly be depressing. Yeah, she didn't voice just Bunny. Yeah, Christine Kavanagh didn't just voice Bunny. She was Dexter from Dexter's Lab. And she was Chucky from Rugrats. And she was a whole bunch of different cartoons from my childhood. And she died of, I think it was leukemia at Christmas. I was really sad.
Okay, then, yeah, we've got a question then. Finally, what was the worst story you've ever read, fan or from the library, either or?
From the library? Do you mean in real life? Or
I'm guessing. Well, this library is obviously an unknown concept in the real terms of building filled with shelves upon shelves of treated wood pulp, and then
I've read so many books I couldn't even tell you which was the worst one. Because I read something like 400 books a year, because I have a lot of them on audiobook, and I read a lot of them just generally because they're forever changing the curriculum, so I keep having to change.
Don't even get me started.
I'm not going there. I'm just saying that's why I keep having to read more books.
We've been good. 46 minutes in.
We have been good keeping that out of things.
Keep it.
Yeah, considering 2/3 of this chat at the moment works in that industry.
Moving swiftly on.
As far as bad fan fiction goes, I keep being handed stuff by people who they're really sweet, and the people are really, really lovely, and they send me fiction. They say, I've just written this. It's my first ever fan fiction. Can you please do a reading of this? And if it's really, really young authors who tend to do this, and they will send me the entire fiction itself in an email. And there was one person who sent me this, and they'd sent me it as a Word document, and it was a My Little Pony Thomas the Tank Engine crossover.
What?
And yes, and it was during the coronation of Twilight Sparkle, and Thomas randomly turned up and said, "No, Twilight, I have always loved you." And then he in
that voice as well. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Was he running a bit low on coal that day or something?
Well, he must have been running a bit low on something, because he promptly sort of went away and drove into a tunnel and you heard Twilight going, "No, Thomas, they've blocked the other end of the tunnel!" Crash.
Game over, man. Game over.
And then they somehow resurrected Thomas Tank Engine, and he and Twilight begin their little romance as princess and train. That was probably the worst.
What would that be? Would that be like a tromance or something?
I've no idea. Kate Bug has done a reading of it on Bo Girl Brony's channel, because I showed it to her. I showed it to a bunch of people in chat because I couldn't believe that this person wasn't trolling me, that this was a genuine story that they wanted me to read.
And he actually had written it. You're actually serious this exists?
Yes, because I found lots and lots of art for it and various other versions, because apparently Twilight Thomas is a really popular pairing on DeviantArt. Because I spent a rather hilarious evening with someone going through this, and they're going, "Oh my god, this thing actually exists." And if you want to hear this story, go and listen to Kate Bug on Bo Girl Bronies. She does a reading of it.
I just have no words to say.
But yes, because there's lots of other, like, just poorly written stories that I've read. I generally backspace when I find too many technical problems for me to be able to understand what's going on. But that was the worst one conceptually that I actually got.
So do you do like I do occasionally? I've read some fanfics. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. But did you have to sometimes, when obviously the English gets to the point where you want to claw your eyeballs out and then clear the eye sockets out with chlorine bleach, to the point where
I got to that point. I will have just gone, you know what? Nope, there's 3 billion words of pony fiction. I'm going to check some of the others.
Yeah, but do you think that sometimes the story is worth it to the point where you would basically make it?
I have tidied up some stories that I've done readings of before now, yes. They weren't claw your eyes out bad, but there have been stories where the SPAG, the spelling, punctuation and grammar, has not been brilliant. but I've done readings of them anyway. I've just tidied it up a bit before I've done it so that when I was reading it made more sense. Because otherwise, some of the outtakes from when I've done readings are just me pausing and going, what? And copious swearing. People think I don't swear. It's quite fun.
I've heard you swear a couple of times. I
know. I swear like a sailor, but I just don't swear where people can hear me.
Are you being racist? What's with this sailor thing? Eh? You ever been in Navy?
Pardon?
I said, have you been in Navy?
No, but my uncle was, my great uncle. Because my grandfather was a career army man, and my great uncle was Navy, and yeah, sweary.
It's just like, what the hell? What? Yeah, it's what I can't understand. Why would Twilight Sparkle go with a train? What, even if he had like the best personality in the world, I just.
There we go. They've linked it in the chat. Different people have done fan art of it.
What? Why does this even exist? Attack on Thomas? Are you actually kidding me?
I'm not. And the thing is, these people.
What's she do? It's a bit of a one-sided relationship because she's got to fill him up with coal, isn't it? Because and.
Well, can you imagine any kind of relations between them would involve her standing on the track and getting squashed?
Well, no, he's got his exhaust boiler pipe, isn't he? So
we're going into this a bit too much detail. We're thinking of the logistics of a pony train relationship. Who swears worse, you or the last narrator? Most definitely the last narrator. Her cutie mark is cursing. That gives you an indication of which of us swears more.
What's your cutie mark?
My cutie mark is a pair of quills.
Oh yeah, I can see the back end of your OC, I assume.
I've recently changed my Fimfiction profile picture to this as well, but in Skype, for those who don't know, my picture at the moment is Emogak's significant other, Oblivion Fall, did a picture of my pony's backside.
It's literally just an ass. It's just an ass in my face.
Some indication of what kind of conversation you're going to end up with today. It's just like, here we go, pony bomb.
Oh, thank God this is almost over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Killing me, you are. Hang on, let me have a look. Can't get over this. There's probably scarier things than a train and Twilight Sparkle, I have to admit, but my God.
Relationships. There was once, I remember reading somewhere.
Okay, let's actually go there. What are the worst relationships, pairings you've ever heard of?
I was just about to say one. We had
crossover or not?
T-Rex Paris Bright.
Okay.
And Thomas Twilight. I thought it was a bit weird in on Across an Arrow where Rarity and Elusive get together because they are effectively the same person, just gender bent. Like they have the same personality, the same genetic structure from a different universe, and they become a couple. And Rarity went off to find him in this story, and with the intention of becoming a couple with herself. Which, it's just.
So this is...
I verge on being incredibly rude if I say what I actually think about that.
Yeah, you'd end up having me ban you, so it's probably not a good plan, is it?
True, so I won't say it, I'll just leave other people, because considering I've said it, I can't say it out loud, they're probably all thinking it now. You can't. Oh, somebody said, Vic has said you can't get worse than Sonic Dash ships. Yeah, you can. I found them. I've read them before now.
Well, everyone talks about the Sonic and Dash ones. What about Tails and Dash ones? They're even worse.
They are in Sonic SAS, where Tails is a child and a ward of Sonic, pretty much. Like that's
messed up.
Yeah.
What is he like? He's actually, like 10 or something. If you actually follow the original canon from the manual from the Book of Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive, actually says he's like 7 or something.
Yeah, and you start thinking, this is pedophilic. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's a bit like
no.
Yes, let's move on. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so we've got 5 more minutes left.
I'm sure you're counting down seconds.
Do you want to do a little mini blurb, like at the end of your things? Anything interesting happen over Christmas? Anything interesting other than listening to me be miserable with you for the last 55 minutes?
Christmas was pretty much the same as everybody else's Christmas, in that if you coop up extended family in the same house for more than 2 days, you're probably going to have a riot. So yeah, I walked the dog quite a lot over Christmas to get away from my family.
I spent most of my Christmas holiday in a plane and planning, obviously, for the exams and crap that I've had to do this week and next. And
we had
parents'
exams right
evenings.
before we broke up, so.
Yeah.
Although I spent some of Christmas talking about BronyCon and logistics of that, and if I get my passport back in time to be able to go.
Well, you're an illegal immigrant then.
We're going to end right there.
Your passport's been captured, has it?
My passport needed to be renewed just at the worst possible time. But I hopefully we're planning to go to BronyCon, and the Lost Narrator was talking about maybe getting a panel there if we can. And if I go, I know Reva Brony will be going, because he said he will if I go.
Oh, so you can hold his hand and
guide him through. He's so tall. He could just guide me through the place because I'm really short. Even when I wear heels, I'm really, really short.
What are you? 4 foot nothing then, or?
I am 4 foot. No, 4 foot. I'm 5'3". 4 foot.
So you could just about fit in the overhead storage booths in an economy plane then.
Various different squidgy bits of me might fall out again, but yeah.
Oh, what are you like? What are you like? BronyCon, no. It's too many people there for me. I'd end up just wanting to kill them all.
I've been to 2 cons in my life, and they were both last summer, and one was Buck.
Which ones? One was Buck. I was Buck.
And CampCon. And Buck was actually right. It was my very first con ever. Not even just my first PonyCon, like first ever con. So I like to start with that one, and I got to meet Blue Shift. That was fun and nighty, and a few other people. I was on a panel talking about fanfiction. But that was fun. Blue Shift looks nothing whatsoever like I imagined. It doesn't even sound like I imagined. He sort of turned up and went, hello, because we all met in the green room beforehand, and I was there first, and by dint of the fact that I was the only female in the room, they kind of guessed who I was.
That's the only issue when, with this fandom. It's like, you're a girl, damn, you're caught out.
But they found me, and he sort of turned up and went, hello, my name's Blue Shift. And he put his hand out, and I just sort of stared at him and went, really?
You're like, damn, son!
But yeah, that was fun. But CamCon was brilliant as well. They've got the audio from CamCon on my channel where we did a stage show of sorts talking about ponydom. And you should listen to that one just for Deadly Reg. So there we go, advertise that. Go listen to Deadly Reg because he's far more entertaining than I am.
Right, quick question before we go. What's your opinion on Gravity Falls, as everyone seems to want to know what your Gravity Falls opinion is?
I've never watched it. I've genuinely never watched it. It's on my list of things I want to watch, but I keep producing content and making radio plays and volunteering audio reading. Actually, I've just volunteered an audio reading as a prize in the new Most Dangerous Game contest. So if you want to enter that one and potentially get one of your favourite fanfics read, not My Little Dashie. I'm not doing My Little Dashie.
Oh, can you do My Little Dashie?
Oh no, I've just realised that could actually happen. Oh, damn it.
What if I win it?
If somebody wins it, no, I've said it. Damn it, I know I've said it, somebody's going to suggest it. Crap.
Put it on the rules. Put it on the rules.
Oh no, we've given them ideas. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Get them to do Rainbow Factory or something, that'd be fun.
Actually, I would do Rainbow Factory, except the Finish Line is doing an animated movie of it, and I really want to watch that.
It's the Rainbow.
And they're actually quite far into that, and I've seen some of the footage, and it's bloody amazing. Ooh, why does gravity fall? Because if we all fell upwards, we'd float up into space.
All right, we need to wrap this up, don't we?
We do.
It's been fun. It's been fun talking to you. And you can catch Scribbler's syndicated stuff when I remember to post it, usually on Tuesdays.
Oh, damn it, yeah, that weird Midlander one. We'll just put her
it's
stuff
that bloody Midlander stuff. Oh, crap, I got to put her on Tuesday.
Yeah,
so,
the
it's
whole
normally...
country hates my bit of the country. They think that my bit of the country is just a place where you would insert the tube for the anima.
Or just... well, no one would miss Yorkshire if they buried it. You know what I mean? Just have the whole thing
next to
underground.
Birmingham, but I think probably people would outweigh Birmingham as being worse than Yorkshire.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you for joining us, and thank you again for joining us on our birthday, 4 years. How have you been doing your fanfics now?
2 and a bit years now.
What's my favourite fanfic of all time? What's your favourite fanfic?
Oh, it was from Harry Potter fandom, and I think it was called The Death of Mary Suze or something, and it was an entire story about how Mary Suze became sentient and started trying to wipe other Mary Suze off the map, and it was amazing. And you should all go and read it. In fact, I will put that link on my fanfiction blog as the next thing I do. Go and find that, because it's amazing.
Right. We're out of time for you to find out what mine is, and anyway, I'm not that interesting, so I just run a radio station. Right, we're running out of time. Oh, we're over time, actually, so... bugger off, Scribbler. I'll speak to you soon, yeah? And thank you again for coming on.
Bye-bye, Jack T.
That was fun, actually. More, I think actually it was more fun than me actually with the boring planned interview I had actually.
Just like winging it and taking random questions. Techno jock. I know that for this.
Everyone's saying the interview sounded painful for me, and it's like I actually really enjoyed it. I just sound miserable because I am this miserable bastard. As
But
always,
entertaining miserable bastard. Jack D has made a career out of being a miserable bastard. So.
But I definitely thank you for joining us, and we'll have to do something. We'll do a collab where we just do a reading in like the stupidest British accents we can, or something.
Excessively British.
Yeah.
British ponyfic.
We'll find a fic where we can literally just completely just do it overkill. You know, we actually like proper narrate with PR accents, and we go, "Oh my goodness," and proper crazy. I think that'd be really fun to do.
Wasn't there a thing a little bit ago where they used to redub ponies, bits of My Little Pony, as ponies what are British? Sadly, that was a thing at one point. In Heroic Tale chat, Side of Barrel has just said, "I'm going to hate myself for saying this, but why is Scribbler getting interviewed by Ricky Gervais?"
What the hell, man? Are they all taking the piss out of my accent now?
That was the only thing. I'm just looking through now. Oh.
What? Yeah, if you go to twitter.com, hang on, I'll link it for you so you can see my OC when you were like with your pigtails. I asked someone to design. I asked one of my DJs actually to design me an OC, which they thought, reflected me really well. And the picture that's my Twitter icon is what they came up with. The link's there.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why pigtails.
Oh, bless. Oh, it's demanding I sign in for Twitter. I can't remember my password.
They don't need to sign in, just close it. It'll still show you.
Yeah, I just did. I go onto Twitter so very rarely.
That's a big thing. It's a big way to... Ooh, fucking hell. Count. Is he online?
Who's that?
Why are people like practicing mixing and shit, man? We've been doing the DJing now for like 3.5 years. It's like, what the hell? Everyone's like, gotta do like a mix. I could like go on there. I could drink like a crate of beer, go on this, and then still outmix any one of these guys. Any one of them. I'm not playing my own trumpet like, but I've been DJing for longer than most of my crew have been alive. So that's the thing. Oh, Ace, what you like? Senpai noticed me, then called me annoying on air in front of 60 people. I'm going to favourite and retweet that. That's what you deserve.